Perfect. Well, good morning, good afternoon for some, good evening for others. Gonna do something a little bit different for those of you who have been following along on the previous streams. Had to change up the time this weekend, and then that caused some conflicts and things like that. So just be a little bit different. Might be a little bit shorter than previous streams, and yeah. So the plan today is I have a little presentation. I want to talk about some things we've been working on, some things about the project, give a tried and true status update, different from the other formats where it was more of an interview style or Q&A style. This is going to be more just showing you what we've been working on. So with that, I'm going to jump right in. And let's see if that comes through. There it goes. So I'm not going to be able to see the chat when I click through this, but I'll try to check from time to time what's going on. So I think I'm just going to jump straight into it and answer the hot question on everyone's mind is, when can I play? When can I join? When can I get going, right? It's a question we get on all our social media platforms, on Discord. People join, ask when the release is. So I'm just going to address this head on, right? And here's kind of how it looks like at an abstract level, right? So we announced in October last year that we were bringing Rose back. It took us a little bit of time to get set up, and we started our alpha in February. This was invite only, and this is currently still going on. So if you want to know when can you play, the first time that you'll be able to play if you're not in the invite only group for alpha will be closed beta. Now, we will be releasing closed beta in 2022. Exactly when, we don't have a date pinned down yet, but it'll be sooner than you think. It will probably be in mid 2022, not late 2022, but we're trying our best. So keep an eye out for that. Our closed beta will be open to everybody, but we will limit how many people we take. So there'll be a process by how we accept people. I can say for certain that if you don't already have an account on roseonlinegame.com, then you won't be invited to the beta. So if you want to be on the beta, make sure you get signed up so that when that time comes, we can send our announcement email and you'll be able to register. If you're not interested in being part of the closed beta group, then you'd be able to be in the open beta, which will happen right after closed beta. Again, we don't know how long closed beta will be. We don't know how long alpha will continue to be, but open beta, you'll be able to hop in. If you don't like playing beta games and you want to wait till release, unfortunately, I can't give you any more updates. The release will happen sometime after beta or open beta. So that's kind of the answer to that question of when can you play, when is the game released. This is the only information we can provide at this time. I know it's not amazing. You want a specific date, you want to log in now, but believe me, we are trying our best. So I think this is another question we get a lot, right? Like, why is it taking so long? Right? The game already existed. We were handed the game. Why can't we just release now? Like, give me access. I want to play, right? Believe me, we want to play too. We want to play with everybody too. So I'm going to address this question directly as well. Basically, Rose is a very old game, right? Depending on when you started the game, depends on, you could have started at any point between now and like 2002 when it was first built and things like that, right? Like Rose is 20 years old, and I'm sure some of the code is even older than that, like the engine code and things like that. So when our team got access to the game last year, we got access to the game, but then we also got access to 20 years of things that we weren't fixed or layered on top of each other and things like that. We want to release a high quality game. We don't want to release a game with problems. And so we've been working hard to fix them. For those of you who were playing the game when it shut down in 2019, you'll know that there were some issues that were there for a long time that were neglected, right? The infamous duping bugs that basically destroyed the economy, game arenas and dungeons crashing if too many people were participating, players being able to skill stack and hide how many skills they're casting and things like that, right? All these things, when we got the game, those things were there. And so we've been working hard to clean them up. There's a lot more to that list, right? We've been working behind the scenes to basically take what we've been given and eliminate a bunch of this technical debt. It's not very exciting work. It's not very visual and doesn't like show you guys like, hey, look at this and that. But it's really important work, right? I mean, you don't want to play a game where you spend a lot of hours farming something and then someone just dupes that same item a million times and makes your time worthless, right? And everyone on the team is players, and so we also care about these things. So we're working hard to fix it. This is probably the biggest reason why it's taking a little bit longer than we anticipated to go from receiving the project to getting to alpha and out of alpha and things like that. We just continue to uncover like problems here and there. The code is very old. The game is very old, and so that's something that we as a team have to work with and fight with. Another thing is that the team is absolutely fantastic. I love working on this team. But some of you may or may not know that the team doesn't work on a full-time basis right now. We don't have the resources in order to hire everyone full-time. So people work on an availability basis. And everybody works extremely hard. They have their responsibilities, their obligations, but everyone dedicates a lot of time to the project. And it just means that we do our best, but we can't move at the same speed as maybe like a larger studio or a studio with more resources or that sort of thing. So the team, in my opinion, has accomplished amazing things. I think on the back end, people can't see it, but I'm in a position where I can, and it's truly the amount of work that has gone into the project so far has been staggering, right? But there's only a limited amount of hours in the day, and our team only has a limited amount of hours in total, and that's okay, right? We work hard, and that just affects the timing of things. It affects like how long we can, how fast we can go, the scale of some projects we can do, and that sort of things. Now, in the future, once we've got in a good spot, we're hoping that we'd be able to implement some things that would allow this situation to change, right? Ways for players in the community to support us, and maybe we'd be able to change the team availability constraint. But for now, it's something that we deal with. So these are really the two reasons why it's taking a little while. I hope that you guys can appreciate that there's more to it. We really, really are trying our best to bring it to everybody's hands. For us, we want everybody to play. It's a huge goal for us. But we don't want to release something and have problems with it and that sort of thing. So for our team, beta is basically our highest priority right now, right? Like our highest priority is to get the game to beta, to get players to come in, and a majority of our work goes towards projects that will get us towards beta. The number one thing is fixing bugs. So thank you to all our alpha testers. They have done a tremendous job diligently reporting every issue they have. From like quest dialogue mistakes to I get a crash here, or this dungeon. There was a video yesterday in the Discord, right, where Owl just had a weird glitch where he just got destroyed by a spider, right? Like there's things like that the game has a huge surface, and so we've been doing that kind of testing in alpha, testing crashes and things like that. So our focus is to fix those things, make sure our server is stable. We have about 35 to 40 alpha testers right now. Obviously, when we go into beta, we want to have a lot more players than that, so making sure that our servers can handle it, the code can handle that sort of thing. But we're players too, and while we work on these fixes and things like that, we also like to make the game a little better. Like, we are also playing and testing the game, so we work on quality of life improvements and minor gameplay enhancements. Now, if you've been following our progress for a while, you will know that we initially actually had a lot larger gameplay ambitions. We did the level rescaling and things like that. As a team, we actually decided to roll back those things because beta and releasing to the community is a high priority for us, right? There's a lot of things that the team we want to work on and do, but we recognize that these things will take time, and we have postponed a few of our larger, grander projects because we know that you, the community, you, the players, you want to play today, and we can work on those things over time after a release. So our priorities are beta, and so if you hear our news and our progress and watch our alpha testers and that sort of thing, you might not see that much that's moving the needle. That's because we're working on things at the foundational level. So I just want to reassure everybody, beta is our number one priority. Now, Having said that, I think, we are players. We play the game pretty frequently. We test things. We watch our alpha testers. We communicate with them. And even though beta is our priority and we're working on those foundational things, I think there's some things that we work on that are a little bit more fun, a little bit more, like that we can share with you and that sort of thing. So I just wanted to share some of the most recent things that we're working on. I'm very proud of the team. I think we've really done like good amount of work. I think everyone on the team has really worked hard. And, I want to show that even if it looks like things are moving slowly, behind the scenes, there's an incredible amount of work going on. And I'm going to show you a few things just now. And it's really just a few of the things we've accomplished, right? If I gave you the whole laundry list, some of it would be technical, some of it would be boring, but these are kind of the fun elements. So I just want to highlight these and, hopefully get you guys excited and, keep supporting us. So first thing is, if anybody has been watching our streams or being involved, we've been doing a lot of play testing of the end game, and it's such a pain when you reset your stats and then you have to allocate each stat by clicking. Well, in our most recent changes, you don't have to do that anymore. We've added a way where you can bulk assign some stats, right? So if you control click on the plus sign, you'll get a calculator and you can assign 100 strength in one go or something like that, right? Small quality of life improvement, but believe me, we've been doing so much testing, so many stat resets, all that, right, that this is a huge time saver for us, and we're going to roll it out to our alpha testers soon, so that hopefully will be a huge time saver for them. Minor thing, but really a solid quality of life improvement. We also have, on our back end, have unified the account system. Now, if you've been following me talking a lot about all these things, I've been reaffirming everybody, sign up on the website. And we've been saying that the website, that account that you have on the website is going to be the one that you're going to use to log in the game. Well, we've actually landed this in our code base. Now you are able to log in using your website account, which is the same as your forum account. So it's all one account for Rose things. This is important for us because it'll be easier for us to provide support, do integrations between the forum, the website, the game, things like that. But it was also a huge milestone for our team because we put the foundations for this in there. So like this is going to enable us to do some really cool things in the future, right? Like, maybe you'd be able to see your characters on the website dashboard, access your storage. We haven't really identified all those things, but with the implementation we have the unified account system, we would be able to do that in the future because now our servers can talk to the website and back and forth. So this was huge. This was a lot of work, and this was one of the two major things blocking us from moving into beta. The other major one is the duping, right? So once we have the duping issues solved, we'll be very close to launching beta. A nice little thing that came up here, we've observed that our alpha testers like to use summons. We've also been playing around with summons, and we felt that the way that summons work right now are very limited. So kudos to the team. They just jumped on this and started tweaking it, and we've implemented a way that you can independently control your summon. So here, if you control click, you can send your summon to a specific spot, or if you control click a mob, you can have it attack a specific one. One thing that's pretty annoying when you use summons is that right now it just does whatever it wants, but with this new system that you'll be able to control a little bit better, have it tank the actual mob that you want it to tank, stuff like that. Now, in the future, we want to go even further with this, come up with some, even crazier gameplay things, maybe give summon skills, maybe do all kinds of stuff, right? But for now, like we implemented this as like the first step in how can we make summons more useful in the game? How can they be more fun, right? There's also like pet capsules and things like that. So this was a very exciting feature for us. I hope you guys will enjoy playing with it when we release, and we'll get some feedback from our testers here and see how they feel about it. Even though I said we've been focusing on bug fixes and stability and things like that, look, we all love Rose, right? Like we want to make the game better, and so we've been testing, doing a little bit of research and development on things. And here you can see, one of the devs testing some new effects, some new skills, right? Like a little gap closer skill on the left, or AOE effects, right? Like these things are important to the game as well, right? We don't only work on technical stuff. We think about the gameplay elements and making the game better. And so there's a lot more of these kind of things happening behind the scenes, design decisions. We've already changed a few animations for certain skills to make them, like, differentiate them from others and that sort of thing. So this is the kind of stuff that, like, we're working on behind the scenes. Whether this gets released in this form or not, like, it's hard to say, right? We're just doing a little research, doing a little experimenting. So the gap closer one on the left, that kind of is my favorite. It's like, oh, okay, what does that change in the game? What does that open up? Does it break things, right? We'll have to, these are things we have to test and experiment with, but this is how it starts. Now, this one is my personal favorite. A couple of the devs have been implementing some controller support for the game. So here you can see, I think that's a PS3 controller, fully supported by the game. We mentioned in the in one of our updates that we want to make the game cross-platform, right? And we implemented some technical things to support that. And with that implementation, we were able to support, different input types. And so here we have, like playing Rose with a controller, right? Reminds me of Mario 64, right? So this actually, we have the implementation. It's not integrated yet, or maybe it is integrated. I'll have to double check, but it's in work in progress. And honestly, it feels like you're playing a different game. So even though we're pushing hard to beta, we're pushing all these technical things, for us it's important. We just want everybody to know that we also are thinking about the game beyond just re-releasing what was there, right? We're working on all these new initiatives and things like that. We have some constraints with our team's resources. We have some constraints with the technical aspects of the game. But we're working on some pretty exciting stuff. We're trying to bring Rose back, but we're trying to go beyond that, right? Beta is important for us, but we're thinking long term, right? We're not just trying to bring back yet another Rose server. We're trying to think, well, what can we do to take this game to the next level? And so just short and sweet update today, just sharing our status, sharing some things that we're working on. I appreciate everybody, accommodating the new time change. I know we were pretty consistent in times, and now we changed it, so I appreciate everybody being here. I hope some of these things were interesting, some of these things were exciting. The team's working very hard, and, we're excited. Every single person on the Rose team plays or played Rose, right? We care about the game. We care about the community. We do these streams so that we can share our progress. We do these streams so we can stay connected to the community. We want to build a game for the community. And so beta is our number one priority right now. I can reassure you about that. But also I want you to know that we're going beyond just, okay, how can we get to beta? We do work on more advanced things. We do work a lot behind the scenes, and we try to share as much as we can. But sometimes some things don't make it to the forefront, don't make it to the spotlight. So I think I went through that pretty fast. I'm going to check if there's any questions. We'll keep it kind of brief. I'll take a few questions if there's any, but hopefully you guys appreciate a little bit of that insider look. Can you name your children after our dev team? I'll leave that to you. You'll have to talk to your spouse to figure out if that's okay. When you say cross-platform, which platforms do you mean? So Rose right now is Windows only. We would like to change that. The biggest barrier to that was the windowing system and input system, and then obviously it uses DirectX in the background. So we've been working on the windowing and input system. So if we can solve that, we could allow different controllers, and that's how we got to that spot. The next step for us is to do the DirectX changes, but that won't happen for a while. So we would like to target the main desktop platforms eventually, Windows, Mac, and then Linux. the team, we've been discussing about what level of effort would it be to bring it to something like, the Switch or something like that. That's definitely a long-term, multi-year goal. But these are the kind of thoughts and discussions that we have. We're doing work right now that would make that possible at some point in the future. Me newbie, will we think about bringing back cleric buffs? Actually, we have talked about that. If we did, it wouldn't be like a casting skill. It might be some kind of like AoE effect that you have to stay near your cleric or something like that. But right now, we're not planning to make any more changes to cleric for the meantime. Dual clients with a controller. Just wondering on the aspects on that, if it would work on first client only. Yeah, Josen, that's like the controller stuff is pretty new, pretty early in development. I'm not sure how it would work with dual client. We're trying to encourage single client play, so that's not something that we would probably optimize for. I missed a question. Okay, I think I missed a question or it got deleted. Oh, is Rose on a version of Git? Yep, we use Git internally for the code and SVN for the assets. Yeah, Urko. Yeah, I think from our alpha testers, I think nobody's really missed the cleric. I think if players get in and play, they would appreciate that. You don't need the cleric buff, but you still need a cleric. We weren't able to do certain content without a cleric, having the heals, having the salamanders, and things like that. So the cleric has a pretty important role beyond just being a buff slave. And we found that without all the pay to win booster items, cleric healing is really huge, and a cleric has to be active in their healing. They have to actually heal people and that sort of thing. So I've played a little bit of the cleric. Right now the cleric's actually super overpowered in PvP, funnily enough, because they don't have to spend all their points on buffs. They basically are kind of like a battle cleric, and it's almost impossible to kill them in PvP. It's actually really funny. We'll try to do some PvP sessions, and you guys can see that. Will the server and client be open source? No, unfortunately, we won't open source those things, but I do want to encourage like modding in the future. It's something I talked about, so we want to encourage people making their own items and bring them in game and that sort of thing. Yeah, something like Steam Deck, we would love to be able to support. That would probably be like a first before we go full console. If we ever do something like a Steam Deck where it's running Linux or something, that would be something. I think the team would be very excited to do that. We would love to try to get to there. Okay. Yeah, I think I just want to keep it short and sweet. I'll upload the recording for those who missed it. Again, I appreciate everybody here. I hope you enjoyed our updates. If you guys are excited, I would really appreciate if you have a chance to come in the Discord and just give a shout out to the team. They're working really hard, and sometimes I know people just want the game to come out, and people are we get some negative comments here and there, but it'd be really nice if you could shout out the team on Discord or something. They're working hard, and I really want them to feel appreciated, because the work they're doing is really incredible. So I'm just gonna wrap it up here, and okay, let me just answer this one last question. Yeah, if you watched earlier in the stream, there will be another round for beta. Make sure you're signed up for roseonlinegame.com. Make sure you have an account. If you don't, you won't be invited to beta. So make sure you have an account, and then there will be invites. So, all right, everybody. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your week. Bye-bye.